Hello again and welcome back to the channel. I appreciate that I piqued your interest to check out this video and see what I'm going to be unveiling. Not so much of an unboxing as it is to taking a look at what this might spark interest in the future for me. So in this video, I actually might be breaking ground with starting a new sub collection with my Ataris. And this is yet again another purchase I did make from eBay in July of 2023. Obviously, I've taken off the mailing label here for privacy. I am not too concerned of how it's shipped. It feels nice and secured, but I am excited to see what's inside. So let's do a quick opening, unwrapping of this item. All right, well, there it is. I bought a priority mailbox. No, okay, I'm kidding. Let's keep going. So, it's an Atari 800 cartridge. Came out in 1983, and it's called Magic Dump 2. And it was published through Sauron Gemini software. This is definitely a hard to find, at least for me, and I think for quite a bit of those who are looking for this lately. And it's also rated a 9 out of a 1 to 10 scale for rarity on Atari Mania's database. So let's just first take a look at this box, how it looks condition-wise. I mean, it was stated to be in good condition, I believe it was. It's not, for 40 years old, what do you expect? I mean, it looks good. I mean, there's dust and everything, but who cares? I mean, this is, I am going to be cleaning everything up. All right, here it is. We got a user's manual, and we actually have the cartridge. Let's take a look at the cartridge. It looks pretty good. Backside, a little bit of scratches, but it is intact. Contacts look clean. And then, of course, the user manual, a little bit of discoloring here, but not really a stain. And, I mean, there's the discoloring you could see, but that's okay. All right, well, it's all there. So what is this software all about? Why is it a rarity, and what collection will this start for me? Well, first, let's talk about the company, Sauron Computer Products. Now, if you were into the Atari 8-bit scene in the early to mid-'80s, you probably heard of this company or at least saw one of their advertisements in almost every early Antic magazine publication. It seems like most of what they were selling is utility related, but this video is not so much on the particular company as it is on the cartridge itself, Magic Dump. And not really just Magic Dump, more to it than that. So what's special about it other than it's 40 years old? Well, give you a little hint. You probably already noticed it, or you probably already know. Well, it's a cartridge that goes on the right side cartridge slot of the Atari 800 computer. So I'll put that right here, you can see it. So many wondered what was the second slot used for, and there's only really a handful of cartridges that were created that would utilize it, which makes it somewhat rare itself. But using that right side cartridge slot obviously would have to be coded differently, so these cartridges would need to be recognized by the computer to run in the background or independently and be accessible as a supplement to whatever might have been in the left cartridge slot. So if you factor the rarity of this particular cartridge, along with a handful of others that fit in the same build of being used in the right cartridge slot, well, then you have the recipe for me wanting to start a so-called new sub-collection within my Atari main collection. From my initial research, which I'll continue to further check, I found around a dozen various cartridges produced for use in the right cartridge slot. And if any of you have these shown here, please comment below and let me know, because I'd love to hear your backstories about them. So getting back to this cartridge, Magic Dump 2, from what I understand it and reading a little bit about it, again, I just opened it now, so I haven't really read the manual, but I know the advertisements, I've seen them. What it does is it allows you to capture pretty much any graphic to your printer. Now, there's specific printers it was compatible with, but the concept of just a graphic screen dump to a printer was pretty amazing 40 years ago. I think we take that for granted nowadays. So now let's transition to getting this fully tested in my 800. Okay, no need to adjust your monitor or your eyes. This is my startup that I get with my TV/monitor that I use with all my Ataris when I'm playing or just entertaining. It's a nice 85-inch Samsung 4K LED that I purchased about a year ago. So depending on what console I'm using, I have various methods to get the best output to it. For the 8-bit, what I do is I use a 5-pin DIN to the monitor out port that goes into an S card, and then it plugs into the Medusa. I'll show you a picture right here. And I got that Medusa from Retro Lemon last summer, and I have zero issues with it. I'll put a link to Retro Lemon in the description if you're interested. The Medusa essentially then sends the image out to my HDMI input on the TV without losing quality in all the transfer. It's the best I can get, and no complaints. I don't think I'm going to do much more to it for my 8-bit output. Let's go ahead and get you a close-up view of what I'll be doing here. Okay, here is my 800, one of my favorite computers. This is actually one of two that I have. Anyhow, let's go ahead and pop this one open. And as we can see, both left and right cartridge slots are empty. We will put the magic dump in the right cartridge slot. Seat it in nicely. And then let's put in basic, because it doesn't have built-in basic on the 800, in the left slot. And close the cover. And let's power it on. Okay, as expected, it brings you up to the basic prompt of ready. And now let's initiate the actual menu for the magic dump. It says you have to hold your control and the escape key together, and then release, and then hit any other key on the keyboard. Now we are in the menu for Magic Dump 2 by Eric Woltz, copyright 1983 by Gemini Software. And then below is what your options are. As you can see, the printer selected default Epson, density light, inverse off, size 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the right side, the option key exits the menu. That's what it tells you. And the right side also says start begins the print. So option would get me back to basic. Let's go back in again, control escape, hit a key, and then start would actually begin the print, which we won't do because I do not have a printer connected. And then if you want to toggle the printer, you hit the letter P, and then you can change. And there's also the save screen. That's another capability of this magic dump. You can actually do a screen dump into a file. It's a .md2 extension to the file name, MD obviously, magic dump, that you can later load and print if you choose to do so. And let's see what else we have. Save screen 2, back to the Epson printer selection, D for density. You can do light or dark. I for inverse will toggle between off and on. And the size 1, 2, 3, 4, you just press the numbers. Pretty simple. Now, they do have a disclaimer in their manual about that it might not be an exact print due to the factors that they cannot control with the other programs that you're displaying the image that you're trying to dump to the printer. So it won't be a perfect duplicate of what you see on the screen to the printer, but still, that's a pretty cool utility for what it can do. This sold for around $60 back in 1983. So that is pretty amazing. 40 years ago, where we now take advantage of a just simple print screen and send it to a printer or send it to a file. This is the way we had to do it if we had the means to purchase such a utility and use it with our Atari 800 only. Well, that should do it. Hope you all found that pretty interesting to see the technology or the capabilities we had back in the early 80s to do a simple thing as print screening what you see to your printer or even capturing it to a file. It's just amazing. 40 years, technology has come quite a way. One thing I always will take with me is I'll never take what we have for granted. I remember the beginnings such as this, and I'm sure many of you do as well. I want to thank you for watching and taking time out of your day to look at this video. I appreciate it very much. I hope you enjoy it. I will continue to make more video on the content of my collection as well as new items I'm receiving to add to it. It's a passion of mine. I hope I could share that with you and you enjoy it as well. Until next time, keep your gaming passion alive from the past by living it today. Take care.